Hi, welcome to All Games New and Old. I'm David Rodriguez, and today I'm going to be reviewing Bullet by Level 99 Games. It was designed by Joshua Van Lanningham, and it was released in 2021. Now, this game tries to create the feeling of the arcade games where you're one little ship going against hordes of enemies shooting tons and tons of bullets at you while you try to evade them and shoot your enemies down, and it does it using a sort of a puzzle game sort of element. As you can tell by the art, it's got a definite anime style to it, and anime is really something I love. It's really close to my heart, but I thought I could bring in a guest who's even closer to anime than I am. So I'm going to send this over to him. What's going on? Are you just gonna shout the whole time? No, by all means, keep going. I'll just sit here watching movies till you're done. All right, it's been a real long night. I called into work so I can get this done. I was hoping to get it done last night, but he just kept yelling. So I'll go ahead and tell you about the game. So this game takes place, I sort of assume, in the future, and you take the role of one of the world's greatest heroines as they fight each other, settling their differences. I don't really know what those differences are, but they must be pretty serious because they are hurling tons and tons of bullets at each other. And that's basically it. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you how to play this game. Alright, so I have this set up as if I was playing a two-player game of Bullet. Now I only have one character board out because the other characters are going to be doing the exact same thing, and I'm just kind of showing you how it plays, so I don't need to have all those out. But you would have other characters out, of course, that the other players would be playing. I also gave her one power-up to start, which is not usually what you do, but just so I could show you how that works. You have these little extra power-up tiles, I guess, that you get between turns. So anyway, that's there just to kind of show you what that's like. I'm using Adelheid Beckenbauer. I'll tell you kind of what her power does. I may not use it as I go through here just because I'm trying to give you a more general idea, but hers is she can take face down bullets in her sight. Her sight is this middle area here, and they are all colors and have no number of stars. So they're essentially sort of like a wild in a sense, if you need a specific color, which many of her patterns do, which I'll go into that as well. So every character has a board like this that tells her what her special power is, along with having her health meter. They also have an individualized action board, which is right here, which will have some of the powers they can do, though they almost all cost action points, which is what this track is here on the side. And then every character has an area called the center, which is not unique to them. Everyone has the same type of center. I have out this bag, or I'm sorry, sight rather than center, because this is the center. The bag where basically the collection of bullets that everyone will be drawing from is, it's called the center. I put it over here just for sake of having it within your sight. I have the current, which is my bag that I'm going to be drawing bullets from. And over here I have the intensity track. Usually you probably have that somewhere more centrally located for all the players, but I have it over here so you can see what it is. So there's two ways you can kind of do this game. You can do it with or without a timer. I personally recommend doing it with a timer once you know how to play. I think it really adds a lot to the game. In order to show this to you, though, I'm not going to be using the timer because I don't know if I can talk fast enough to make that work. But usually, you'd have 3 minutes to do all your main actions. So what you're going to do, by the way, you start out, you've drawn 10 random bullets from the center bag. So what you'll then do is you're going to start placing bullets out. So for instance, the first one I draw was a green 1. So you're going to go to the green row, or column rather, and you're going to place it, in that case, in the first open available space. Now, if that were 2, you'd count down 2 open spaces. So in this case, if I drew a green one right here, I wouldn't count that first space. I'd go 1, 2, and place it there. So you're going to keep drawing out bullets. So that's a pink 3, that'll go there. In your first round, you most likely are going to be placing out all your bullets without having any real issues as far as taking damage. So here's another 3, so I'd go 1, 2, next open space, 3. And what you don't want is you don't want your bullet to go down to this row, because if it does, it zips on over here and takes up a spot on your wound track, and if that gets all filled out, then you are out of the game. Let's see, I've got a 3 blue. So as I said, when you start, you just have 10. I'm going to put all these out just to kind of show you. Ooh. See, so now, if I were to get another blue that's a 3 or over, I would take a wound. I could now stop and try, I could stop at any time and use one of my abilities, or I could try to complete one of my patterns if possible. I don't see, there's a little bit on the board that she could do. So for instance, if I wanted to use her power, move a bullet left, right, or down 1 space, that costs 1 action point, so I can move that down, and if I wanted to clear something out of here, I could choose to move one of these to the side. This is also a good way to get your various bullets in the right position to pull off your patterns. So I've got like these pattern cards here. So right now, as far as these require specific colors, at least hers do. Not everyone is the same, because everyone has their own deck of patterns. So I need 1 bullet of any color, then I need 2 pink bullets, and then I can get rid of bullets in these 3 spaces here. And you cannot rotate these in any way. They have to be exactly the way that they're facing, face up. So let's say that I had moved things around here. Actually, I'll pull out the rest of the bullets here just to get going. So I got 2, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, see, if I would have pulled that out, then what would have happened if I hadn't moved that blue one is this would have gone down here and it would have zipped over to give me damage. So you want to avoid that, obviously. All right, so let's say I'd managed to move things around so that I'd gotten some bullets over here, and then I have the 2 pink here, and I have another color there. It doesn't matter, this one happens to be pink, but it doesn't have to, which means I can clear bullets in these 3 spots. Now, they don't all have to be filled unless there is a white circle around it, which is just one of the little indicators that you'll learn. There's a card that tells you what all the different symbology means, but I could just choose to clear these 2. And since one of those has a star on it, I can also do one of my star actions, which in this case, I have one right on the board that says I gain 1 action point. So I could do that, get an action point back, which is great. And then I'm going to take these and put these in my opponent's incoming area. So all of us have an incoming here. I would take it and put it in their area here, so I'm not going to do that to myself. I put that over there, and then as they clear bullets, they'll be putting them in my incoming area face down. And you put them face down so that way when you're drawing next turn, you don't really know if you have a huge amount of a certain color or not, because it makes it a little trickier. So since I've used this pattern, I'm now going to discard that to the side. And I cannot use that the rest of this round. I do have these 2 as well, and I do have a way to spend 2 action points to draw another pattern out. So if I'm not able to get anything with these, and I think maybe there might be something I could get in another card, I could try to do that. And I just had a little collapse of these tiles, so I'm going to move those over. That happens. Okay, so you're going to keep putting bullets out until you have them all out. And you can play patterns, do these actions, as long as that 3-minute timer is going. If that 3-minute timer runs out and you still have bullets left in your current, then you still have to place your bullets out one at a time, but you can no longer do any patterns and you can no longer do any actions. You just have to put them out and see what happens. Also, as soon as you're done putting bullets out, you can then reach over and take one of these power-up tiles. So it's beneficial for you to finish first, because then you get the first pick of which ones you want. So I might take this one and move it over here. And these power-up tiles are basically a one-time use. So like this one that I had on there gives me +1 action point. So I could discard that and then give myself an action point on the track, which could be very useful for moving around various tiles. All right, so when that's all said and done, let's say the second player is also finished. They've taken their power-up tile. So during the cleanup phase, we're going to, or I'm sorry, the end phase, excuse me. So we'll have taken our power up. We're going to drop to our hand size again. So I only used 1 pattern here, and my hand size is 3. Almost everyone has a hand size of 3. You're going to draw another pattern out, and that'll be usable on your next turn, or the next round, I should say. Then you're going to move all the bullets from your center area, which is here, to your current, which is your black bag. So I'm going to pick all these up. Now some of them I've obviously gotten rid of and sent over to my opponent, and they'll have to deal with those. So then we're going to put intensity bullets from the center into the current. So right now the intensity is at a 4. That's where it starts. So I'm going to draw 4 more tiles out of here, again without, or I should say bullets without looking. And I'm going to add those to my current. So every round, that's going to be going up and up. So you're going to have more and more bullets to contend with. So then the cleanup phase, you're going to put out new power-ups equal to the number of players. So if I was playing 2, I'd put out 2 power-ups. And again, these are the things you can grab when you finish dealing with all your bullets. We're going to increase the intensity by 1. So that way we know next turn at the end, we're going to be putting 5 more bullets from the center into our current. And then I'm going to take the bullets that went into my incoming, and I'm going to put those in my current. And if you're playing with more than 2 players, basically the bullets you clear go to the player to your left. So I'm not going to be sending anyone to whoever's on my right-hand side, but they're going to be sending everything to me. Then when you're done, if your AP track is kind of down low, you're going to put it back up to max. So you always start with the max at the beginning of every turn. And then you're pretty much ready to start a new round. You can start the timer again if you're playing with a timer, and then try to clear more bullets again. And it gets harder and harder every turn. There's going to be more and more bullets coming out. You're going to start taking wounds. When you do finally take wounds to the max, you're basically out of the game. Anyone else still in the round can keep going. Even if you're playing 2 players, they'll see if they survive or not. So if I'm playing 2 players and I get knocked out of the game, but my opponent is still going, they're going to keep going until the end of that round. If they survive, if they don't take all 4 damage, then they win. If they also would be defeated, then we're going to see who has the fewest bullets in their current, and whoever that is will win that round. If we both have the same, then there's also a sudden death sort of round that you can do. But I won't get into that. It doesn't happen very often, I don't think. So that's the basic game when you're playing multiplayer. There are other modes. There's like a score attack mode. I've also played the co-op mode. I'm not going to go into that right now because really it's important that you learn the main game first before you play that. It actually plays very similarly. There's a few things they added on, of course, to deal with the fact that there's a boss. Every character has a boss side as well, so you could play against any of them. We were going to play against her last time we played, and the way she fights against you is brutal, and we didn't think we could do it, so we didn't end up playing against her. But every single one is different. Every character is very different, so it's fun to experiment around and see which ones you like best. So that's the basic gist of how this game is played. It's pretty simple to learn the rules. Getting good at it is a whole other thing, and we're going to talk more about that in our final thoughts, which I'll get to right now. All right, I hope that overview of the play was useful to you, and hope you get an idea of how this game works. So now we're going to talk about what we thought of this game. Do you want to start? Shall we start with the art? I know when I did my unboxing video, I couldn't shut up about that, so let's talk about it. What did you think of the art?
I would like the artwork a lot. I think they did a really good job of doing all the characters and making them look different, have a different feel. If you're, even when you flip the card over, if you're doing co-op, you flip the card over and there's a different image on the back side for them being a boss, rather than, like some games will just have a different color to represent them being a boss. So I liked all the details that went into the artwork in this game.
I do too. I absolutely love the art. I'm partial to anime art anyway, and this is art I feel especially well done. And the coloring is really great. The boss side, I think they all look sort of menacing and dangerous, which is really cool. Yeah, I mean, my only complaint is that there's not somehow more art in the game. I don't know they probably can't squeeze any more into this, but I'm really looking forward to their future expansions. I'm hoping they can use the same artist, or at least one very similar, because I really enjoyed the art. I do want to touch on something about the game. It's all the characters in this are women, which is pretty cool. A lot of games don't do that, and I'm glad to see that this game does. And with the anime theme, they could have easily gone a direction where everything was very sexualized art, and I suppose there's a market for that. I don't personally feel they did. I mean, there's one character who's got a fairly tight shirt on, I guess, which could be. To me, honestly, it looks more like everyone's just ready to kick someone's butt. But I don't know. Your opinion is probably more important than mine on this aspect. So, what did you think about like that aspect of the art?
I think they did a good job of. Yeah, there's might be a character or two that the pose is starting to get a little bit in that direction of going a little too risque or a little over the top anime over the top. But I think they held back enough that none of them were like, oh, geez, it's, this art style again. So I think they did a good job of toeing the line of, making them seem like they're menacing, but not over-sexualizing them.
Yeah, like I wouldn't feel uncomfortable bringing this out with our daughters or with players that I don't know. I don't think there's any... I don't think there's anything where I'd be like, oh boy, I hope this person's okay with this, or oh, I hope this doesn't destroy this child for the rest of their life, or anything along those lines. It's pretty calm, just cool looking art. I don't think there's too much of that particular aspect in it. So for the theme of this game, they're trying to capture that that shoot 'em up game feel, and I think there is that, but also a definite Tetris element, and I don't know where you would fit in the global standings of Tetris people, but I consider you to be way up there because, like, I don't know, I've played Tetris since it was out on the Game Boy, and you still taught me some kind of wacky move I don't know, that I didn't even know was possible. So anyway, what do you think about the theme? That's what I'm trying to get at. And the gameplay as far as it ties together.
I can see where they're going with it. I didn't play a lot of shooter video games, but I love Tetris. And like as soon as we started playing, I'm like, this reminds me of Tetris, and I was actually really excited about it. It definitely gives me more of a Tetris vibe than it does the shooter games. But I can see where they were going for that theme.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like the first turn or two is pretty mellow, like it might be when you first start playing Tetris and you're just kind of getting into your groove and whatnot. But, I'd say at least by the third turn in, things are starting to ramp up a lot. And if, it really starts to feel like when you're playing Tetris and you've got like a few lines left at the top and more stuff's coming down and it's coming down quick and you're trying to eliminate things as fast as you can and you get that sense of sort of panic in you because you don't know if it's gonna work out. I really feel like it's got that feeling, which is actually kind of a similar feeling to when you're playing a shooter game and there's like a trillion bullets and you're trying to weave your way through like the one possible path through them while you're actually doing damage at the same time. I think it really captures that feeling, whatever that is, that you get inside that particular kind of stress really well. This game has something with it that we can't really talk about with most games. This game has a soundtrack that you don't need to get at all if you don't want to. You can use any 3-minute timer, but every song is exactly 3 minutes, and each one is supposed to be themed off of one of the characters. And, you can just Google Level 99 Bullet soundtrack and pull it up, or it's on Spotify, I think, and it's on iTunes. It's kind of an interesting thing. What do you think about the soundtrack for this board game?
I thought it was really well done. It definitely adds to the intensity of the game and playing it. The one minor thing that I would change is just a little bit of a indication that the song's about to end. A lot of times the song would end and it would go into a new song, and it would take us a second to realize that it went into a new song. And then also just like with Tetris, like you'll like kind of flash the like 5, 4, kind of give you a little bit of a countdown where the music doesn't really have anything to indicate that your time's about almost up. So for me, I would like to know that the time is just about up.
Yeah, we were. I think when we looked it up through their website, I think it would just play one and then stop, I believe. But then we started doing it through the Apple Music program, and it will just kick off into the next one. There's probably a setting I could go in there and mess with that would just stop it after one song. I'm not really sure, but it would kind of kick into the next song, and they do sound somewhat different enough, but still, it was easy to kind of like let it bleed into the next song before we realized that the song was really over. I do feel like the songs really capture the feel of sort of a modern shoot 'em up game, and some of them are fairly mellow. I mean, none of them are super super mellow, but some of them are kind of quiet, and some of them, oh my god! Like I feel like from the get go, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm out of time. Like almost the first three notes, I'm like and like the Adelheid gal who's the composer, hers to me is it's bonkers. Like I don't. It's got all these like weird discordant things going on. It's got a little classical music mixed in, and for some reason, it's just immediate like. You're running out of time, you're running out of time, you're running out of time.
They really dove into the composer part of her song.
Yeah, I actually really love it. I would actually probably listen to that one separate from the game. But yeah, they are all different, and they do add to the game, and they can ramp up the tension, or they can give you kind of a false sense of security, like, oh, everything's fine, it's calm. You still have just 3 minutes. Like, you don't understand. That's not that much time, especially after a few turns and you have a lot more bullets in your bag, because someone has sent over a bunch of bullets to you. Like, you gotta go. Like, so either you're going to be stressing out and probably going faster than you could and maybe making some mistakes, or you might be taking it too easy because of that song and you're going to cause yourself a problem. So I love the integration of the soundtrack. Again, you don't have to use it. You can use any 3-minute timer. That's fine. But I think it's really worth it to look up the soundtrack if you can, or at least give it a shot. I think it does add something to the game. So let's talk about gameplay. Now, when I did my overview, I just talked about the competitive game. We also did the cooperative game, where each character has a bad guy side, basically. So you flip that over. They have, I think it's usually 7 shields that you have to destroy to win. And every round they'll put out a pattern that you have to have on your sight area. And if you don't, then whatever the card says the bad thing will happens to you. It could be like moving a bunch of bullets down, which can do a ton of damage really quick. So those are the main differences, but we played both. So what were your thoughts on the different modes of play?
So one thing that I found really interesting is that both versions kind of felt the same to me. And I'm not used to that with board games. If they can be played co-op or competitive, they tend to feel differently to me when I'm playing either mode, and this one didn't. But I actually like that because we have a lot of friends that don't want to play cooperative or competitive games, so it's nice that we can play it as a co-op game and still get the same feel as if we were playing it competitive.
Yeah, definitely. The only or the major difference, I guess, is just the cooperative game doesn't have a timer to it. So it's much more focused on solving the puzzles, and I really don't think you could do it with the timer, unless the timer was longer for the cooperative game, because just adding that pattern that you have to get from the opponent, it really changes, or it's really just like one more big thing you have to focus on. So that can make it a little tricky.
And especially like the one bad guy that we went up against, she kept, as we got rid of the shields, she would add another pattern. So yeah. I think the final round we had like 5 patterns that we had to have on our board to not take damage from her.
Yeah, she got pretty rough, and they all have a different thing. There was one speaking of Adelheid again, we looked at going against her, and I looked at some of her patterns, and I was like, nope. Like you needed really like several really specific colors. I'm like, oh man, you're not going to have all that in the first round. Like this sounds really hard. I probably should. I'm sure we'll go back and try her at some point because it's got to be possible. But yeah, they're all going to be different, and that's something that's cool about this game is I think every character really feels different, whether they're the ones you're playing as or playing against. You wouldn't think with a game that looks so simple on the surface they could make that much of a difference between characters, but I think they really nailed it personally.
Yeah, I think they did a good job of that. I think the little bit of backstory that they gave to the characters, I think you can feel that in the gameplay too, which is impressive to me.
Yeah, definitely. Well, sorry, go ahead.
The one other thing with the gameplay, kind of speaking of the characters and the different way they play, there's one character that, like, the book will say if the character is easy, how difficult the character is to play, and there was one character that was listed as easy that I tried, and I really don't think that she should be considered easy. Like, we played some of the hard characters, and I felt like she was still like as hard, if not harder, than some of the hard characters. So I don't know if she was just mislabeled or if it's just a character that didn't click with me. But, that's something to keep in mind. So if you play it and you just feel like you're not getting the game, try a different character because you'll probably pick it up based off of a different character.
Yeah, I didn't. I haven't tried that character yet. I think her name is Akolu. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. She's got a little bit of an Egyptian theme. She's really into triangles for some reason. And I just looked at what she had to do after the fact, and I was like, oh my gosh, that looks ridiculous. And I played one of the hard characters, Mariel, who you do have less control over your board, so I can understand why she's hard, but she's not hard to grasp. You know what you have to do with her. So I don't think she's hard to learn. So, I think some characters are going to work for some people better than others will. So definitely if you play a character and you're like, oh god, this seems impossible, just try a different one. I think probably you're going to find that some characters are right up your alley and some are not. But they're all worth giving a shot because of how different they all are. So do you want to talk about final score?
Yep.
Do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
You can go first.
Fine. Be that way. Okay. So, I figured when I saw this game I would like it. I didn't back it on Kickstarter just because I just couldn't do it monetarily at the time, as, it wasn't super expensive, but still. I didn't back it on Kickstarter. I got it at retail, and I thought it'd be, a good game, cool, puzzle, timed, sounds fun, fast playing, sure. I love this game. I love it. It is so dang much fun. I think, this is the kind of game that you're going to hear like, oh no, and like yells of excitement around the table. It's just really fast, frenetic action. Man, the tension's really great. Like I really like it in this game. I reviewed another game more recently, Proving Grounds, that also had a timer, which I did like a lot. For some reason, this one, doing it in a competitive game, it just feels different to me, and I love every second of it. I love the moment when you realize, oh my gosh, the timer's almost out and I still have, a bunch of bullets in my bag and I have to figure out what to do, and you're like, can I move this here? Can I use this action point? It's crazy. And the action, it's just nonstop burning my brain, but in a really good way. And I feel like this is the kind of game where if you play it a lot, it'll somehow make your brain smarter and able to react to things at a faster level in some crazy way. I don't know. Like, it's hard to explain, but it's so good. It's so fun. So I want to give this game a 9. And honestly, it wouldn't shock me as I play it more, as I play even more of the characters and whatnot. It wouldn't shock me if my estimation of this game even rose beyond that. I'm not sure. Today I'm giving it a 9, but it's really fantastic. I am absolutely loving this game, and I want to get everything for it and about it. And if it says Bullet and it's from level 99, I'm going to want to buy it. I don't care what it is. What do you think?
I really enjoyed this game a lot. Like I said, I love Tetris, and it gave me that feeling of playing Tetris in a board game, which I really enjoyed. I also really enjoy that it's a fast playing game. So, if we can easily play it on a regular work night, I think it's also a good game to bring to like a big game day where, if someone's setting up a big game, the rest of the people can play this while they wait for the game to be set up. I think you can easily play a couple rounds of it and still enjoy it. I could see it being a game that you really enjoy it, play a lot, and then suddenly burn out on it. I don't know if that's going to be the case. So far, I still want to play it. But just knowing similar games that have that fast-paced timer element, I know people that have that, where they really enjoy it and then they buy it and then they play it like nonstop for a weekend and then they are like, nope, I'm done. I don't want to see that game again. So I don't think that's the case with this game, but like I could see that element a little bit just because of the fast pace and timing aspect of it. But I really enjoyed it a lot. For me, I would give it a 9 at as well, because I really do enjoy the feel of Tetris. I like that when I'm playing it, during that 3 minutes that I'm playing, I don't have to worry about what the other players are doing. I can just look at my board and look at what I need to do, and then deal with what they did during their turn afterwards. So I really enjoyed it a lot.
Right on. So that's pretty dang high rating from the both of us. Just shy of perfect from both of us.
Hey, we gave it a 99.
We didn't do that on purpose, level 99. No, we didn't. We really didn't. But that is funny, now that you mention it. It's well earned. So, anyway, I hope this review was useful to you. I can't recommend it enough. If you're at all interested, please at least try it, but also buy it, because it's fantastic. Anyway, if you did enjoy this video, please hit like and subscribe. Click the little bell icon so you'll know when the next video is up. And beyond that, I look forward to seeing you around the table again at All Games New and Old. Thanks.
Bye.
We're at the review part, so we're going to talk about what we thought about this. I guess, what do you feel? Let's talk about the art first. That's right, because I was too busy trying to untrap myself from the ridiculous episode. I trap myself inside a table, don't ask, it's confusing. Anyway. I know, I got problems. It's amazing I could do this. I should just be playing Chutes and Ladders, to be honest with you. It's about what I can do. Candyland, yeah. Yeah, I don't need to make decisions. Just let the game decide for me what happens. That's fine. Just tell me what happens. That's good. As you can see by the cover, this take is sucking.